An American woman in a Barcelona hotel demanded they turn down the Mediterranean Sea because the waves were too loud at night. She said she paid for an ocean view, not ocean sounds. When the front desk explained they couldn't control the sea, she asked to speak to whoever was in charge of wave management for that region. She was genuinely shocked that wasn't a thing. If this level of absurdity analysis is your kind of therapy, you're in the right corner of YouTube. I track this cultural chaos full-time, so you don't have to. Subscribe and stay 3 steps ahead of the next headline that makes you question humanity. A tourist in Rome complained that the Colosseum didn't have a gift shop inside the actual arena. He said American stadiums all have merchandise stands, so this was false advertising. When told it's a 2,000-year-old historical site, he suggested they could install temporary pop-up shops that wouldn't damage the ruins. He had sketches on his phone of where the Gatorade coolers should go. An American couple in Tokyo tried to pay their subway fare with a $20 bill. When the machine rejected it, they started speaking louder and slower in English, assuming the machine didn't understand them. They genuinely believed Japanese vending machines were programmed to accept USD. The wife suggested the machine might be racist against American currency. A woman in Paris demanded the Eiffel Tower be repainted because the brown color gave her geographical anxiety. She said iconic landmarks should be calming colors like seafoam green or lavender. When told it's supposed to be that color, she claimed her therapist said she was visually sensitive to structural browns. She offered to start a GoFundMe to cover the paint costs if money was the issue. A man in London refused to believe that 4 p.m. wasn't lunchtime. He said his body runs on Eastern Standard Time, and the restaurant was discriminating against his circadian rhythm. When they explained they stopped serving lunch at 3 p.m., he accused them of temporal colonialism. He demanded they honor his biological time zone as a medical accommodation. Most channels react to this stuff. I decode it. If you're here for more than just a laugh, hit subscribe. This is the only corner of YouTube where global absurdity gets psychological context. An American tourist in Germany complained that the Autobahn didn't have a speed limit in miles per hour. She said kilometers were un-American and made her speedometer anxious. When the rental car company explained that's how Germany measures speed, she asked if they could put American numbers on top of the European ones. She claimed her GPS had cultural integration issues. A family in Greece tried to order pizza at the Parthenon. When told there's no food service at ancient ruins, the dad said that's a major business opportunity they're missing. He explained that Americans need to eat every 2 hours or they get freedom deficiency. He offered to invest in a Parthenon Pizza Hut franchise if they'd let him be the regional manager. A woman in Amsterdam demanded the canals be drained because she has horizontal water anxiety. She said lakes are fine because they're contained, but long water makes her geographically unstable. When told the canals are the entire point of Amsterdam, she suggested they could fill them with sand and paint them blue. She claimed it would be safer and look exactly the same from photos. A tourist in Dublin complained that Irish accents were too difficult and the locals should speak clearer English. He said he learned English first, so technically everyone else was doing it wrong. When told this is Ireland and they invented English too, he said American English is the updated version and they should download it. He compared it to iPhone updates that everyone needs to install. An American couple in Morocco demanded ice cubes in their mint tea. When told hot tea doesn't have ice, they said that's a Heath Code violation in the U.S. They claimed any beverage not offered cold is technically a food safety risk. The husband threatened to report them to the American Embassy for beverage temperature discrimination. They brought a thermometer to prove the tea was dangerously hot. A man in Sweden complained that 24-hour time format was making his watch confused. He said his brain only processes 12-hour increments, and seeing 17 ones was causing him temporal dyslexia. When staff explained that's standard in Europe, he asked if they had a converter he could borrow. He suggested they should offer time format sensitivity training for American tourists. A woman in Thailand demanded the tuk-tuk driver turn on air conditioning. When he explained it's an open-air vehicle with no AC, she accused him of false advertising. She said she specifically requested a ride, which implies climate control. She threatened to leave a one-star review for vehicular fraud. She suggested he could strap a portable AC unit to the back. An American tourist in Scotland refused to believe castles didn't have elevators. He said his knee has altitude intolerance and stairs are medieval discrimination. When told the castle was built in 1200, he suggested they could install a chairlift that matches the historical aesthetic. He showed them pictures of ski resort lifts and said they could make it look old-timey with some gray paint. A family in Italy complained that gelato shops don't offer ranch dressing flavor. The mom said her kids only eat foods that can have ranch, so this was excluding American dietary culture. When told that's not a thing in Italy, she accused them of condiment discrimination. She brought her own bottle of Hidden Valley and asked them to blend it into vanilla. She called it fusion cuisine. A man in Spain demanded the siesta be moved to a different time because it interfered with his touring schedule. He said 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. was prime sightseeing hours, and the whole country shutting down was inconvenient. When told it's a cultural tradition, he suggested they could take their nap from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. instead. He claimed that would boost tourism revenue by 47% based on a calculation he did on a napkin. A tourist in Prague complained that the cobblestone streets weren't wheelchair accessible, even though she wasn't in a wheelchair. She said she might need one someday, so planning ahead was discrimination against her future self. When told the streets are 600 years old, she suggested they could pave over them with smooth concrete that looks like cobblestones. She said Disneyland does it, so it's basically the same thing as real history. An American woman in Egypt demanded the pyramids have better Wi-Fi. She said she paid for a tour that included photos, which implies internet access to post them in real time. When told ancient monuments don't have Wi-Fi infrastructure, she accused them of false advertising. She claimed the brochure said immersive experience, which she interpreted as full connectivity. She asked to speak to the Pharaoh's customer service department. A couple in Portugal complained that the Portuguese language sounded too much like Spanish. They said it was confusing their translation app and causing them linguistic anxiety. When told that's a different language, they suggested Portugal could switch to Spanish to make things easier for tourists. They said it would improve the overall European user experience. They compared it to how everyone should just use USB-C now. A man in Iceland demanded they turn off the northern lights because the green color was giving him aurora-induced insomnia. He said natural phenomena should come with an off switch for people with light sensitivity. When told that's impossible, he asked what time the lights turn off automatically. He genuinely believed they were on a timer like streetlights. He threatened to contact atmospheric management. A woman in Vietnam refused to cross the street because the traffic didn't follow American patterns. She said her right-of-way instincts were trained for U.S. intersections, and retraining them was neurological discrimination. When locals tried to help her cross, she accused them of peer pressuring her into danger. She demanded they install American-style traffic lights with a walk signal that talks. She'd been standing on the corner for 45 minutes, waiting for traffic to stop completely. An American tourist in New Zealand complained that sheep outnumbering people was false advertising. He said the brochure made it seem like a developed country, but mostly seeing livestock was rural discrimination. When told that's literally what New Zealand is known for, he said he expected sheep in a zoo, not everywhere. He demanded a partial refund for the sheep-to-human ratio being off. He claimed he felt culturally misled. A family in Belgium demanded the mannequin piss statue be removed because a peeing statue is inappropriate for children. The mom said American landmarks don't show bodily functions, so this was basically European exhibitionism. When told it's been there since 1619, She suggested they could put pants on him as a compromise. She offered to buy the pants herself if budget was the issue. She said it would teach better values and increase family tourism. A man in Norway complained that fjords were just fancy lakes, and he felt scammed. He said he paid extra for a fjord tour, but it's basically just water between mountains like any lake. When the guide explained glacial formation, he said that's fake science to justify charging more. He demanded they rename them Norwegian lakes for accuracy. He calculated that he overpaid by approximately 40% based on regular lake prices he found on Google. A woman in Austria demanded they move the Alps because mountains block her view of more mountains. She said she came to see mountain ranges, not individual mountains that get in the way. When told that's how mountain ranges work, she suggested they could rearrange them in a line for better visibility. She claimed it would improve the tourist photo experience by 60%. She had a PowerPoint presentation on her iPad showing optimal mountain placement. If this video made you laugh, think, or lose a bit of faith in humanity, good. That's the point. I break down cultural absurdity like this every week. Subscribing doesn't help me. It helps you not miss the next breakdown of a world that keeps outdoing itself.